What is going on, guys? This is Mykal Williams from Cartoon Universe, and today I wanted to talk about my boy, the new found goat, the new possible crystal gem, Lars, and how he is stuck on Homeworld. My boy is stuck on another planet, who knows where, in some other galaxy somewhere with the off colors. Last we left off in the Wanted special. How is my man gonna get back to Earth? How is this even gonna be possible? Before we get into that, I want to give a quick shout out to our amazing patron, Voker101. He does awesome music down on SoundCloud, so go follow him. We'll leave some links in the description below. He actually did some Steven Universe hip-hop remixes. One's a Pearl remix and one is a Rose remix, and you can actually hear that right now. So go check him out. Makes awesome, sick, tasty beats. So go check that out down below. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. How is Lars going to get home? So last we left off in Wanted, he had a newfound series of abilities, and he's basically Lion. He is dead. He's a zombie. He's a magical pink zombie. And Steven was able to go through his hair, similar to how he was able to go through Lion's hair, and he was able to transport to Lion onto Earth. So Steven's able to get home, but Lars, of course, is not able to do that. So a lot of people have been speculating, myself included, maybe he could warp, maybe he could scream and warp to Earth, like similar to how Lion is able to scream and send a warp wave down wherever he wants, and he was able to go to the moon. But I actually went to a Rebecca Sugar live event for the Steven Universe soundtrack, and she actually explained that that would be pretty much impossible to do. She explained that with Lion, him just going to the moon was hard enough that pretty much took all of the energy out of Lion. Lion's had these powers for who knows how long, hundreds, maybe even thousands of years. So Lars, being just a guy who just got these powers and he's all the way in Homeworld in another galaxy somewhere across the universe, how would he possibly be able to scream really loud and warp all the way to Earth? That doesn't seem like something that would really happen. And Rebecca Sugar didn't outright say it was no, but she pretty much implied that no, that's not a thing that could really happen. So how in the world does he get home? Well, the obvious answer is that the gems will have to save him and build a ship or something like that. This might be a bit repetitive because this is somewhat similar to what happened with Greg getting kidnapped, but this time there'd be more of a struggle of trying to get the ship. They don't have the Ruby ship anymore, and the other problem is it might not even be possible because they were looking for 3 whole days to get a ship working and running so they could go to Homeworld and save Steven, and they weren't able to when Pearl stated that, you know, the drop ship was not starting or whatever she said. So she wasn't able to do that. So there are other possibilities. So maybe they can fix the drop ship somehow. Maybe they were just kind of in a rush. They didn't contact Peridot and Lapis because they weren't with them at the time for whatever reason. So maybe if they do contact Peridot, she might be able to fix the ship somehow. Even though it's old technology, she might be a little bit more knowledgeable with that sort of stuff. And the other possibility is they're probably not aware of this, is what looks to be Pink Diamond ship in the desert where Lion took Steven. This might actually come into play, and Steven would be potentially the only one who knows about it, other than Lion, of course. So if they're kind of sitting there brainstorming how can they possibly get Lars back, Steven might have an idea. You remember seeing this thing, it looked kind of like a ship, so he might bring that up, or maybe Lion will overhear them and bring them all to the desert where they can get that ship and somehow activate it or fix it up or whatever. But the other problem is, even if they get the ship up and running and they're like, okay, we're gonna go to Homeworld and we're gonna save Lars, my boy, what are they gonna do? They're just gonna walk into Homeworld, be like, hey guys, Crystal Gems here. We're just gonna get our boy Lars real quick and bring him back. That'll be pretty much all. Like, what? That doesn't make any type of sense. So I don't think they're gonna get there by ship. I think A, that would be very redundant because we've kind of seen that already with Greg, and B, it would not be ideal for the gems to do that. There's really no solid plan for them to get away with doing that, and they would have to travel the whole planet looking for Lars, so that would be extremely, extremely inconvenient and a really bad idea. So the way I think they're going to go about it is they'll have to get him from the inside. They'll have to get him from Homeworld himself. So the gems will probably have to travel through Lion, Steven included, so Steven, Pearl, Garnet, Amethyst, maybe Peridot and Lapis, maybe Connie, travel through Lion and go to Lars's tree and come out through that side and potentially help him through the inside. Maybe they have some intel. They may have more of a lay of the land, especially Lapis and Peridot, because they are newer gems. So they're around new Homeworld, Era 2 Homeworld. So it might be a little bit more confusing for the original 3, but for at least Lapis and Peridot, they may be actually able to help and figure out where they are and what they can do and how they can escape and how they can get Lars out of there, jack a ship, and peace without ever getting caught. And maybe they only go in a small amount of numbers. This way, if they all get caught, it's not not a huge deal. And that's pretty much the only option they really have that makes sense, unless some gem that we haven't met yet, or maybe one of the off-color gems, has some sort of teleporting power, but I highly doubt that's going to be the case. All I know is, I swear to God, if we get a Beach City episode next and we don't mention Lars, I'm going to be absolutely heated if we don't resolve this right away, or at least attempt to resolve this right away. And then maybe something else comes up and there's a snag and they have to fold back for a little bit and they keep mentioning it in passing, and then they do some Beach City episodes and then they get back to it once they are able to. I'd be okay with that. But if they just go straight for Beach City episodes, they don't address Lars at all, I'm gonna be so upset, my boy, because they kind of did that with the rubies floating in space after the zoo arc. You know, the rubies were floating in space, they knew the diamonds were coming back to Earth to get humans, and they did absolutely nothing about it. They didn't even mention it in passing, which was just kind of weak writing, but hopefully, and it wasn't a big deal, but here it would be a huge deal if they just completely ignored Lars. And so Steven's okay, everything's good, we'll get Lars later. Like, no, they have to at least address it in some way, shape, or form, at least attempt to do something, attempt to come up with some sort of plan if they're going to go with Beach City episodes right after this. I don't think they will, but who knows? It is Steven Universe, but we'll have to wait and see. And that brings up the question of, what about the off-colors? Because Lars is there, and we know the off-colors would love to go to Earth, and they can just be themselves, and it'd be great. And they've kind of expressed interest in doing that. But the problem with that is it might be too many gems to keep track of from a writing standpoint, because this is kind of the reason why, like in Pokemon, for example, Ash doesn't have like all these Pokemon, other than the fact that he's kind of a scrub in universe. But from a writing standpoint, the reason Ash and Misty and Brock, or whoever his companions are this year, the reason they don't have a bunch of Pokemon all the time and Ash isn't all catching all these Pokemon, even though the tagline's gotta catch them all, is because there'd be too many characters, because all the Pokemon are their own characters. And this is a similar situation here, because right now we already have Steven, Pearl, and I mentioned this in the last video, we already have Steven, Pearl, Garnet, Amethyst, Lapis, and Peridot, and then we have Connie, who's a main character, we have Greg, who's a main character. So now if we add Paparacha, Rutile, Rhodonite, and Fluorite, that's a lot. Let's keep track of. And then we have Fluorite, who is a fusion of 6 different gems, and then we have Rhodonite, who's a fusion of 2 other gems. So who knows what happens if they split? Like, I feel like that's a lot to keep track of. So I feel like they may actually get left behind for some reason. Like, maybe they can't grab those gems, or maybe those gems kind of help defend them so they can escape, since they are used to being in hiding on Homeworld anyway, and they pretty much know all the tunnels and the ins and outs and how to escape. So they're used to it anyway, so they'll probably be like in some type of heroic way, be like, you guys go, you guys just go, we'll hold down the fort, we'll hold back these Robonites or whatever, Robonoids, whatever, and you guys get on that ship, or whatever they're going to do to escape. You guys go, we're going to stay here. And then I think what might happen there is they might come back into play at a later date during some type of climax between the crystal gems and the diamonds or whatever, because we do seem to be making friends throughout the cosmos. We have the Amethyst at the zoo, and now we have the off-colors and Homeworld, and who knows who else we're going to meet. So it seems like that's kind of what's going on, and we already have potential Jasper redemption arc in the future, and then who knows what's going to happen once they heal all the corrupted gems. Then we have Centipedal and all these other gems that we've never even met, and we might have Bismuth, and it's just going to be too many characters all at once, especially to introduce a whole group of characters all in one go. And where would they even go in the bar? And especially Fluorite, she's huge. But anyway, I think the way they're going to have to get Lars is through Lion, and then they're going to have to find a way out through Homeworld. They're not going to be able to travel to Homeworld from Earth. That just wouldn't make sense, and that would not be an efficient plan. That'd be a terrible idea. But what do you guys think? How do you guys think Lars is going to get to Homeworld? Do you think it's going to be through a ship? Do you think it's going to be through Homeworld itself? Do you think they're going to find some type of warping thing? Maybe they actually end up making the warp pad work somehow, and they kind of escort Lars to a warp pad, like the galaxy warp. That would be pretty interesting. That would kind of change up the whole leaving from a ship thing, so we don't reuse that whole little plot device, I guess, if you will. But that would be pretty cool. But what do you guys think? How do you guys think Lars is going to escape? And if the off-colors do join, how do you think they will handle those characters? Or do you think they're going to stay behind on Homeworld? Let us know in the comments down below. Would love to hear what you guys think about this. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe for more Steven Universe discussions and reviews and all things animation. And be sure to hit that notification bell to be alerted when we post these types of things. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I've been Mykal Williams. You've been watching Cartoon Universe, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.